Hello. Hey, everybody. It's Friday. Woo, woo. Who doesn't love a good Friday? I tell you. Although this time of year, the Fridays always hit a little bit differently. Is it just me? Especially like the week after Christmas? Whew, not a typical week at all. How's everybody doing? Thank y'all for joining me. I have a slightly different background, as you can see, because I'm not at home. I am here in Nashville. Technically, this area is called Madison. We love it. It's busy. It's definitely, you're in the middle of a city, but we do like this area a lot. Hello, Laura. Glad to see you here. And Valera. And Deborah Sue is here. I like it. Oh, 49 and sunny. Yep, in South Carolina. I see Ann said it's going to be a beautiful 70 degrees. That's perfection. We woke up to, I think it was 39 degrees here in Nashville, and it's getting up into the 40s. So we'll be going on a nice walk this afternoon. One of our favorite things to do when we're on vacation. Hello, Ann. I think I just said, Ann, your weather, but I just saw your name. So hello. And you talking about Valera, your first true loves, baseball and socks must be. Definitely speaking of Valera. Hey, Jana, happy Thanksgiving indeed. Did y'all have a good Thanksgiving? I hope so. We did. It was nice and quiet, very low key. Everdina is here. Hello, Katie. Glad to have you here. And Karen Gutowski. I did start with the one that you love for Christmas. You're so right. Everdina, it's 31, but feels 32. Wow. That's very chilly where you are. It's one of the things we like about Nashville. The weather tends to be a little more temperate. We like it cold, but not too cold. So it has, yes, been lovely. So we got here Sunday, and we always go to our favorite Mexican restaurant Sunday evening when we get here. And then we kind of spend the week being the opposite of what we are at home. At home, we're very much homebodies because we both work from home. We're always busy. And yeah, so we don't, there's not a huge amount of out and about for us when we are at home. But when we get to Nashville, we are gone from breakfast to dinner a lot of times. And so yesterday was nice. We just stayed here most of the day, and we did go for a walk. It was very chilly. And yeah, we had a low-key Thanksgiving dinner. So it was nice. Oh, Katie, it's 37, but feels like 18. Oof. Yeah, there's a big difference. I noticed when you're in the sun and in the shade and the wind is blowing, it is a massive difference. And it's like, just goes right through you. So, So anyway, so we've had a busy week, but yesterday was nice and calm. Today will be nice and calm. First, we'll go for a walk this afternoon and probably finish off the afternoon with our favorite coffee shop. And then tomorrow we head home. That's it. That's all she wrote. It's back to work, which I think we're ready. Bo misses the pupper, and yeah, I'm ready to get back to my stuff, my couch, the dye studio, all that good stuff. I did want to show y'all. So we tend to try different things every year when we're here. This year, this is our 5th year here in Nashville for Thanksgiving. So we've done a lot of things that we're familiar with, same old stuff, same restaurants. And, but we typically always do some shopping, and we went to a new place this time called Painted Tree Boutique. And it's, the thing that I relate it to is if you have ever been to those antique malls where it's a big retail space, and they basically break it up into all of these different, what do you call them, little cubicle spaces that are rented out by different people, and then they stock their inventory in there, and you go through and you shop. And Bo and I we have one in Lakeland. We like to go through those. We don't typically buy a ton, but we do buy stuff. I bought some teacups and coffee cups and things like that, and just different things that we'll find. You never know what you're going to find. And I figure, hey, if you can get it used, that's better than buying it brand new. And so, yeah, so we like those places. But Painted Tree Boutique is like that, but it's upscale and new products. I think there were 1 or 2 booths that had maybe used items, but everything, and it was mostly home decor, some clothing, mostly geared towards women, stuff like that, and higher end retailers. And a lot of them, I think, were companies that they either have an online presence already, and this is like a place you can actually go to shop for their stuff, or they might have a bigger brick and mortar elsewhere. But this is a great place to have some of their inventory, because you have all kinds of people coming in, and kind of you get a sampling of all these different companies. Anyway, there was one place that had, I forget what all they had. I think they had some home decor stuff, but they just happen to have books as well. And Nashville does have, there's a great bookstore called Parnassus. They have a great online social media presence that we've been to before. But I didn't go this time because we're kind of in a decluttering mode at the house. In all the years that we've lived in our house, we've kind of managed to really get lots of stuff. We've acquired lots of stuff. And Bo is not a person for clutter, so we really have to watch it. Plus, I have the business out of the house, and so if I'm not careful, things will just take over. So we're kind of in a decluttering phase. So even though I love books and I love to support authors this way by buying, paperbacks and the actual physical copy of a book, I've kind of put a little bit of a moratorium on buying. Typically, if I go into a space like that, I'll buy a stack of books and then give some away or keep them and put them on my bookshelves if I love them, things like that, because I like to go back and read books that I've read before. So, but because of that, and because too, when I'm knitting, it's much easier to read from my Kindle and just tap, when I need to turn the page, rather than having this, a book set up and then having to flip the page and put it underneath because I have a book stand, but you have to pull your page out from the thing that weighs it down. And then, so it's not as easy to read when I'm knitting if it's from a physical book. So anyway, my point is I've been buying less actual books, but I found this one and bought it. It's The Battle of the Bookshop by Poppy Alexander. And she wrote The Littlest Library, which sounds familiar to me. I don't know if I read that one. Anyway, so we'll see. I just started it a few minutes ago. I'm using the price tag as the bookmark. So I'll let y'all know what I think about that one. Oh, it feels like 22. That makes sense. Yeah. And did I see Donna there? Hey, Donna, a chilly 60 degrees. Yeah, I told Connor at home he had to work on Thanksgiving. And so I told him, I said, I think it's supposed to cool off. And he was like, oh, if it's cold when I'm having stuck indoors, he works 12-hour shifts, I'm not going to be happy. And I said, I think it'll be cool through the weekend, so you'll be good. So a chilly 60 degrees in St. Pete. Oh, all right. Let's see. Oh, I love it, Everdina. Home alone and knitting away. Isn't that the best when you get the house to yourself and just knitting away? I love it. And on the way home, check out Brentwood. Yes, the Puffy Muffin. I'll have to look into that. We were down south near Brentwood just a couple days ago. We went down to a place called Columbia to check out some things. And it was down there in that area that we went to in, what's the name of the town? Franklin, that had the Painted Tree Boutique. So I'll have to look into the Puffy Muffin. Thank you. I love a good recommendation, And Katie, thank you. This is my polka dot scarf. I wore it a couple weeks ago, and I have our front door open. There's a glass door just to help get light in. And so I thought I might be a little chilly, so I left it on. I'm also wearing my Yoon sweater. I wore this in Birmingham just a couple of, what was that, only last weekend or the weekend before? I don't remember. Whatever weekend it was that we were in Birmingham, I got to wear this. And it's so nice and cozy and warm. Perfect for this weather. I love it. So, all right. What else? Oh, my other big purchase. That wasn't a big purchase, but it was a favorite purchase. I'm always excited to buy books. But my big purchase for this trip was a Christmas present. But for some reason, all the years we've been married, we tend to do our Christmas shopping around Thanksgiving early, and we don't wrap it, and because we prefer to pick out our own Christmas presents. Well, a couple weeks ago, I don't know if y'all have ever noticed, I have a big chunky watch that I used to wear. It was my favorite. Bo bought it for me years ago. Loved it. It was a Citizen. Well, it died. We took it to the jeweler to have the battery replaced, and they've done work on it before. And he called up Bo and said, it's not the battery. That watch is dead. It was one of those radio controlled ones. So we made sure not to get that, but it is a Citizen. It's actually a men's watch. It's nice and heavy. And that's the way I like them. I like a big, chunky, heavy watch. I don't want an iPhone, whatever they call those watches. I don't need that. I don't want to constantly be dinging on me. I check my messages when I'm ready to check them. That's how it goes. So I was very pleased with my Citizen find. So that was the other big thing, and little things here and there, stocking stuffers, stuff like that we buy. So anyway, yes, we have been busy. Let's see, Nitty Lonnie, hello, happy Black Friday from chilly Dallas, indeed. Hey, Cindy, glad to have you on here. Yeah, I noticed we went out this morning for, it's a breakfast. Oh, that sounds like it's right up our alley. Hey, Maylee, Jill. I see Maylee. Of course, I don't know. That's what Jana has called you. So I'm used to calling you Jill. But yeah, we went out this morning for breakfast, and then we went quickly to a Christmas. It's a home decor place called the Wreath Stand that we love. And I noticed that there wasn't a ton of traffic out, but I think a lot of places did their Black Friday sales early this year. I don't know. So, but it was nice for us because traffic was light out this morning. We liked it. So, all right. Are y'all ready to see? It's Jill. I thought so. That's what I always call her. Are y'all ready to see some Swan projects? I may have missed some because I was thinking this morning when I was making the whip picks that I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm missing some here. So if I missed it, I'm sorry. As I go through this next week, when I get home, I will pick those up and I will get them and show them to you all. Hey, Tish, I'm glad to see you. Your wacky weather day. Oh, lake effect snow isn't snowing, but things may change before the day is over. Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah. Same for you. 33 feels like 22. Oh, boy. Oh, I see. Is this a joke? Jill says it's Maylee. And am I saying that right? I'm so sorry. I've always called you Jill. Maybe that's Jan. We'll blame it on Jana. All right, here we go. Let the parade of projects begin. So first up, this is Katrin. She finished her triagonal shawlette. I love that. And she used the extra, I forget what I named it, but it was the extra mini set that if you were in Dying to Knit last year, the whole year, then you got that extra mini set. And she broke it up with some yellow in there or gold. It's Pints and Pearls. It looks so good. And I love the length of it. It looks like it's the perfect length. Gorgeous. And then Jessica is doing, this is the Eyelet Burst shawl. And she started with Fox Books, is that red orange there that you see. It's growing for sure. And then Linda, she finished, this is her DRK Everyday Sweater by Andrea Mowry. And I forgot to mention Jessica Shawl. That one is by Stephen West, if you're interested in that one. But so this one is by Andrea Mowry, and she used After Midnight on Trusty Sock and then Slate on Fluffy Lace, which I love that effect. She did so good. All right, now on to socks, shall we? So Linda is also knitting a pair of Fleece Your Feet socks, and that's where you can do it with any DK weight yarn or I designed it as a way to kind of introduce and show off Trusty Sock held with Fluffy Sock, because Fluffy Sock is alpaca, and primarily alpaca, and obviously it would be very slouchy on its own. But if you hold it with Trusty Sock, you get the warmth of the alpaca, the softness, the squishiness, and then the stitch memory of the Trusty Sock, since it's merino nylon. So in fact, I happen to be wearing my socks today. These are not fleece your feet, but it's not the fleece your feet pattern, but this is the pair. I just took a DK weight pattern and held together Trusty Sock and Fluffy Sock. And then this, just to see if it would work, just did a vanilla sock pattern in a Hallmark holiday. And then from there, I was like, okay, that's a good combination. So now I can design a pair of socks from it. And so that's what I did. All right. And oh my goodness. Okay. I love this. So she took Under the Mistletoe and combined it. I think that's mossy is the green, and then velveteen, which I love. So first, I had Michelle crank a pair of socks with Under the Mistletoe and used mossy, which is a green, as the extra. And then Michelle, I showed these last week, Michelle cranked me a pair of Under the Mistletoe with velveteen as the contrast color, which I loved. And now Anne has shown up both of us and made a pair matching the green and the red as the contrast colors. I love this so very much. Could not be happier that she did that. Which, by the way, I have been wearing my Under the Mistletoe socks this week. And then Star is knitting up her pair of Merry Grinchmas socks. That was a self-striping colorway I did last year. Yeah. And so she's getting hers all knit up. I love it. All right. So let me give you a little bit of a background. So talking about projects I'm working on. So I posted a picture. I think I showed it last week. I had cast on a hat for David, who is my stepdaughter Kayla's boyfriend here in Nashville. Way back in March when we were here for Nash Yarn Fest, David, he wears these beanies. He's bald like Bo. He shaves his head, and he always wears these tight-fitting little beanies that just cover the top of his head. Unlike Bo, who likes a slouchy hat. No, David wants a small beanie. He rolls up the brim, and it sits flat on his head. No, nothing pointy, nothing slouchy. And so I was like, okay, I let him pick out a colorway. He picked out Executive Producer, and he wanted fingering weight yarn. So I knitted up, and I took the measurements. And when I was making it, I was like, oh, this just looks so small, like it barely fit me. And the height, it just seemed like, I don't know. But the final measurement came out perfectly. So here it is, by the way. This is, I finished it on our way up to Nashville. And so there it is when I bound off in the car. You can see I had it in my lap. And I measured it, and it was just over 8 inches. And I was like, okay, I don't know. We'll see. And then, of course, when I blocked it, it definitely blocked looser, especially because I had it over a bowl. And so I thought I was pretty sure it was going to be just fine. Sure enough, I gave it to him the other day. I'll show you all a picture of David wearing. This is the basic beanie by Tin Can Knits, which is a ribbed pattern, and you can choose. They, of course, have instructions for any weight yarn, fingering all the way up to at least worsted. And then they give you a choice of 1x1 rib, 2x2, and they tell you how to do the decreases depending on which one you're doing. Now, I did, instead of alternating my decreases as many times as they suggested, I found somebody, because the hat looks a little bit pointy, and I was like, I don't want it to be pointy, but I found someone's notes, and they said that, you know how you alternate your decrease rows, and then at the very end, you start decreasing every row. Well, you just start decreasing every row a little bit earlier, because that brings down the top of the hat and it's not as pointy. So that's what I did. And you can see it worked out great. So It fit him. He seems to love it. So he wore it the other night. So not Bo, David is a server at a restaurant here in Nashville. So we went to their restaurant the other night. Oh, it was so good. And they get to wear street clothes. I'm sure they have some sort of a dress code, but he gets to wear his beanie during service. So he was wearing his beanie. So it was good. So I finished that. And then, oh, that's funny, Jana. Y'all are sitting across from each other. All right. Oh, 37 degrees in Kansas. Yep. I agree, Tish. Her shawl does look gorgeous. And thank you, Everdina. Yes, I was glad that the hat got done. And I felt a little bit bad that I hadn't sent it to him, but I kind of wanted to be there to see him try it on. And I told him that, if he didn't like it, I could make adjustments or whatever, but he seemed to like it. All right. So what else am I working on? Dun, dun, dun. My Swan sweater, which I haven't been knitting as much this week. I have knit some. But at first I was a little bit like, oh, crud, I forgot my little twist shorties to work on the sleeves. But we're leaving tomorrow and I'll knit on the way home. But I want to do a good solid 4 inches left on this. And I think I want it to be fairly long. So I figure that'll be perfect tomorrow. Hopefully on the drive home, I'll get the body done and be ready to pick up stitches for the sleeves when we get home. So I love it. I have to show y'all. So, I don't know, some of you probably, you remember me talking about hand winding little minis on my thumb. And I love it. I love the way they look. It's a soothing process. It's all very good. But I've been a little bit nervous about hand winding a full skein on my thumb because my thumb just seems so little. And it's like, I don't know how that's going to work. So I pulled out the other night. I knew I needed to wind some yarn before our trip because I was going to run out because I just started my third skein of burnt butter. You like how I wind that. This is a story that I'm telling you about, which I'll finish in a minute. And my third skein now cake of nautical wheelers. So that's what I'm holding together for this Swan sweater. So the other night I knew I needed to wind yarn. It was on my to-do list for a week and I was swamped at home. And so my winding station, I always set it up in the dining room. I don't have it permanently set up. Well, every night, I was working kind of into the evening. And so by the time we sat down in front of the TV, I'm whooped. So I didn't feel like going out or into the dining room and caking up the yarn, even though it would have been faster. We were sitting in front of the TV and I was tired. And I was like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't even feel like knitting. But I was like, I can wind some yarn. So I pulled out my Nostapinna. I think that's how you say it. I just assume they make them different ways, but mine is a wooden rod about yay long. And it's kind of in a cone shape a little bit. It's not the same thickness throughout. And it's pretty smooth, the wood is, and you basically just use it to wrap your yarn around. And I think you can use it. The idea is to use it as a center pull. I don't ever center pull my yarn for some reason. I'm always on the outside. But anyway, this was my first one. And you can see that I was learning. And that's why it has that interesting little shape. And then that same evening, we were still watching TV and I was like, oh, I guess I got time for another one. So then I did this and look at the beauty that is that cake. It's like I learned how to use it and it looks good. I was like, oh, how pretty. So not that I'll be hand winding all of my yarn, but I figured it was something that I could do sitting in front of the TV and I was tired and so that was what I did in front of the TV. So I have and I just started it literally. And I wound in my previous ends. You can see there, I didn't cut them all the way off yet. I will after I block it. But anyway, so that's where I'm at. And so let's see, this is like, I was telling Bo, we were talking about my clutter that is my knitting projects on the couch. And I said, well, I've got some unfinished socks. Like I knit you one sock of the self-striping yarn that I had bought months ago. And I said, should I finish the other sock in that before I start your nautical wheeler socks? I think I told y'all, Bo wants a pair of socks made. He wants them kind of striped. And he said, I have freedom to do the striping however I want. So I can even make, you know how I like to do my different socks. So I can do, you know, chunks. He wants nautical wheelers to be the main color, but then he wants stripes of Cavendish and slate in the socks. So, but I asked him if he wanted me to finish his self-striping socks first before I make those. And he said, nope, I want my nautical wheeler socks first. Okay. So that's probably what I'll cast on next as far as socks go. Because what was my last pair of socks that I finished? Was it I don't know. It might have been Kayla's socks, which I gifted Kayla. Y'all may have seen my garnet and gold socks that I knit for her. It's been a while ago that I finished them. And I gifted those to her this week as well. So thank you, Katie. A cone head shape indeed. You know what? As long as it unwinds okay and doesn't tangle, I don't care what it looks like, honestly. Karen, where do you put the skein of yarn while you're hand winding? Around my knees. So the way we sit on the couch, we've got a footrest that comes up. And so I just bring my feet up, put the skein around my knees and unwind it as I go. And that way it's right in front of me. It doesn't rotate, of course, but you know, if I'm going to have a Swift there, I might as well go out in the dining room and set up the Swift and the winder there. So yeah, so just put it on my knees. Let's see. What else? Everdina, your 5th Musselburgh. Wow. I love that. Center claws. Oh, nice. Okay. So next Saturday, y'all do that. Okay. Well, you better get on it. Well, if you've done 5 of them by now, oh my goodness. But you know what I love about the Musselburgh hat is that you just knit, 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 knit. And once you've knit 5, you probably know exactly where you're doing your decreases and increases, right? Unless you've changed up your gauge, since you can do that in any gauge. It's been fun to show people at festivals the Musselburgh hat. It's always interesting to me at festivals the way some people are very in tune to what the popular designers have come out with, and then some people not so much, or they'll be familiar with one and then not another. Yeah, so it's kind of fun to show people designs that they maybe haven't seen. Even though, you know, the Musselburgh, you're like, everybody knows about the Musselburgh. Nope, not everybody. And you'd be amazed at how many people call it the Musselburgh. Which, I mean, you call it whatever you want, as long as you got the right thing. Laura, no. Lonnie, the executive producer, is a wee bit spoiled. He really is. Y'all know what he's doing right now? He's upstairs taking a nap. But I told him to. He was a little grumpy at breakfast this morning. He says he wasn't. He said, "I'm fine." And you know, we never sleep as good away from home as we do at home. And Bo is very, you know, it's touch and go with his sleep patterns anyway. Although he's been sleeping much better, but we get here and he's not been sleeping quite as good. So, all right, Cindy, after Christmas, I have a few more Musselburgh hats to make for Dawn. He has 6 so far. Oh my gosh. All right. We might have to do a little, maybe a Musselburgh hat knit along or something. This is the perfect time of year to do them. Let's see. So speaking of that, I wanted to tell y'all, and I don't have an agenda with me. So, you know, what I forget to cover today, sorry. But your newsletter pretty much has all of the important stuff. However, what is not in your newsletter is what we will be the challenge for December, our fiber challenge. If you're interested in knowing, I decided months ago, made the graphic months ago. I forget what I called it, but basically the idea is small things. So, and the graphic that I made, which I'll post, well, gosh, I got to get it posted pretty quick because we're approaching the end of November. So I'll find the graphic and post it. The idea is to knit small things. So what inspired it was the idea that December, Christmas, you might make Christmas or Hanukkah related things or anything else that you're celebrating this time of year. But I'm not going to limit it to that. So anything, like if let's say you're like me and you've been wanting to make pumpkins for a long time and you just haven't gotten to it, well, this is a great time to do it. So it'll be small things December. I think I gave it a catchier name, but anyway, that's the idea. So be thinking about that. Are there any ornaments or small little things that you've been wanting to knit, crochet for the house? Maybe you want to make like a fall garland or a Christmas garland or one of those Christmas Advent calendars that you knit up. Anything like that will fit. And it can be, you know, you can do something for Valentine's Day, make some Valentine heart-shaped mug rugs or a mug rug of any kind. So anything like that will qualify. And, you know, you can, it's a great time to use up some stash yarn. If you've got leftovers, yes, a great time to make a gnome if you're doing that. And I know it's already, what is it? Sunday is the Monday. Yeah. So Monday's December 1st, Sunday's the 30th. Yeah. Whew. So, and I will, by the way, I'll announce the winner of the November Fiber Challenge next Friday on our live. So be sure that you post your pictures and all of that good stuff. All right. So what is new in the shop? I promised y'all 3 new Christmas colorways. They're not related, basically, in that sense. I pulled out 3 color cards. I showed my Dying to Knit group, I think, the 3 color cards that I was going to use as my inspiration. And I have already dyed up each of them just to see what they look like and to have Michelle crank some sample socks for me. So now I have to finish dyeing them. I have dyed up the first colorway, which is, and I didn't bring the color card with me. I'm sorry. I'll try to remember to show it next week when I have the next Christmas colorway ready to go. So this is it, called Glad Tidings. The color card is basically a picture of a blue door, that blue door, or that color blue. There's a door, and then there's a green wreath with these dark colored berries on it. Maybe even a ribbon. I don't know. But it was just a gorgeous, a little bit non-traditional colors in there for Christmas. And so I thought, oh, I like that. And Glad Tidings came to mind. And so that was what I named it. So I dyed it on multiple bases. Here it is on Starry Sock, you can see. And in fact, I'll even undo this one so you can see what it looks like. Now I did my usual color repeat lengths, but the colors kind of blend into each other. You've got actually 2 different shades of blue. You've got a teal there, and then a contrast. I put some tan in there. I put a deep, deep dark cherry in there, and then this color. Any of you that remember the colorway Caledonia, that's basically that blue right there, is that Caledonia blue. There's that deep cherry again and the tan. So I really like the way these colors kind of blended into each other, and they're pretty short repeats. So depending on what you work with it, you'll see different patterns emerge. This is it on socks that Michelle cranked for me. You can see how it works up. Morgan pointed out, she said, oh, I like how it kind of does. You've got your self-striping, faux self-striping look going this way, but then you've also almost got like a line going up this way. But again, that depends on how many stitches you cast on as to what you're going to get. I forget what, what's I looking at? The other, gosh, I wish I had remembered. I want to say it was when we were in Birmingham. I was showing a couple of different samples, and I forget the colorway that I used. And literally just because of the different cast on amount of stitches, the patterning came out a little bit different. But so you can see those plummy reds in there. And then I paired it with here. This colorway is called Cheer. And so you can see that color in here. I didn't bring any of those minis with me, but I did bring, it also goes nicely with, I just brought one mini in the blue, and that's called Blue Moon. But you can see that that would pair nicely with that as well. So the Cheer and the Blue Moon are only on minis at this point. But you never know. They might come out in full skeins just because they're such great. So that's this week's colorway. And yeah, next week's has a different feel to it, but I love it. I'm excited to get home and dye up some more of that one for you. And Everdina, it's a beauty. I put in my order. I saw that. Thank you very much. Speaking of, yes, Laura, it is very rich, very saturated. That was definitely my goal for this particular colorway. Let's see just how tight. Normally when I hand wind them these days, they're very loose, but yeah, it's not perfect. I have to take it home and put it on the winder, but that's all right. There she is. So yeah, the next one is, yeah, totally different vibe. I love it. It's got some speckling going on. I can't wait to show that one to you next week. Let's see what else it seems like there was something else I wanted to tell y'all. Oh, I remember. Okay, announcement wise, this Sunday, 2 days from today, is your first Christmas Advent opening. Your packages had their dates. So the one that says November 30th, that's the one you open up on Sunday. All right. I hope you like it. It's a good set. Those were fun. And I will post spoiler pics after the fact, maybe on Monday. And I'll post the cards that you got in your packages. I had a variety for each one. So, you know, they were the inspiration picks. So I kind of chose some of my favorite colors from the set of cards. So some of them you'll see when I post the spoiler pick, you'll actually see a collection of like 4 vintage cards that inspired that particular colorway. And you would have only gotten one, maybe not even one of those, because there was quite a variety in the groupings that I got, if that makes sense. So Karen, will you be able to have all 3 for the trunk show? I'm going to try to have all 3. I will definitely have the first 2, and I will do my best to have that 3rd one as well. So yeah, that is 1 week from tomorrow, by the way. If you're local and can come by Knitcessities, we will be there from 11 to 5. I think Vanessa is open on Saturday. So we'll be there all day. And that's my number 1 priority, is to get Christmas colorways there for sure. So yeah, I will do my best. I do have some special orders to get dyed up this week. And if you're in Dying to Knit, that's not this next week, but the week after. So I've already been looking at the color palette for that. So I'll be dyeing up my first practice pot. And I'm excited about that one. That's a good one. And I'll also be rolling out next year's Dying to Knit subscription in just a couple weeks. I'm not going to say anything about it yet, but it's going to be good. I'm very excited about next year's Dying to Knit, the overall theme. So let's see what else. The week after that, I posted this in the newsletter. The week after next Saturday, December 13th, is the Tampa Fiber Arts Conference, and it's being put on by the Tampa Crochet. What is it called? Anyway, there's a link in there. If you come into that, I think you want, that's a good. I haven't thought about asking Sarah if you can come just to shop, but I think it's kind of set up I think it's like $50. You come, you get a lunch, and you get to pick a morning workshop and an afternoon workshop. I think it's a great deal, honestly. And I'll be there, and I know, oh my gosh, what is the name? Oh, y'all, Common Thread. Shannon from the Common Thread will have some stuff there as well. I'm not sure if there'll be other vendors or not, but there are a few openings still left. So if you haven't signed up, the link is in your newsletter. And Cheryl, no clue as today. You know what? I love that. I love it when I'm like, what day of the week is it? What time is it? That to me means you're living the good life. You're living life as it should be lived. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like that. All right. Katie, it's flurrying. Oh my gosh. I love that. And okay, y'all are both in that same northern area. So Tish, you're getting some flurries too. Is this the first of the year? That was always like the special when I was a kid living in Ohio. The first snow of the year was just, yeah. And then it wore off pretty quick. But we did like playing outside. Okay, let me think. Is there anything else that I have forgotten announcement wise? Shipping starts up Monday because I'll be home tomorrow night if all things go according to plan. And then, yeah, so don't forget, I haven't really said much, but I think I put the link in one of the newsletters recently. If you're coming to Distaff Day, registration is open. That's in Orlando at the beginning of January. It's such a great, great time. Whether you come Friday and Saturday, just Saturday. Some people do just Saturday. Some people do both Friday night and Saturday. Great collection of people. Sun-Kissed Fiber Festival, the first annual Sun-Kissed Fiber Festival is at the end of January over in the Tampa area. I said Tampa. Somebody corrected me. It's Hillsborough. It's in that general area over there. So, yeah, so be aware of all those things. And then, gosh, I think that's it. I told you about the next fiber challenge. I think that's it, everybody. Y'all got big plans for the weekend? I already told you my plans. On Sunday, I'll probably be prepping for Monday's dyeing because I'll be home and unpacking, resting, doing laundry, all the things. Everdina, do I sell the Swan stitch markers? I have not yet. I'm trying to think. Y'all have to let me know. I'm trying to decide what to do about that because I was like, oh, I need to, I will be bringing some of those stitch markers to Distaff Day, I decided, because there are some people that shop locally and never don't get to the Swan stitch markers. So I thought, well, I'll bring some to Distaff Day. So I don't know. And then I was like, oh, I could order some, a different design. And then I thought, well, I don't know, y'all may not want too many swans. I mean, how many Swan stitch markers do you want? I could do different variations of them. I do like the idea of gifting them to you, a gift from me to you. So y'all have to give me some feedback on that. Would you prefer just to have a nice set that you can purchase? That's doable, obviously. Donna, you'll be catching up on your loitering at the Common Thread. Yes, you need to do that. And yes, drink some coffee for me. There goes an ambulance. I love that about the Common Thread, that it's a coffee shop. I mean, ideal, right? All she needs is some books, like fiction, not just knitting books, fiction, and I would live there. Katrin, you like the surprise of the swans. Karen, until you get a red one. Oh, I like it. That's a good idea. Okay. Cindy, plans to stay inside and hot drink. Oh yeah. And knit. I love that. Knitting. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's one thing about this time of year, right? It's the best for just staying inside and knitting. Everdina, you like to see a set. Okay. All right. Very good. I will keep all that in mind then. make those things happen. All right. It's on my list right up here. All right. Well, I'm going to have to go wake up Bo and make him take me out and about. And yeah, I hope you all have a good weekend. Stay warm, get your knitting, crochet, whatever on. And I will see you in the Swan City Stitchers, and I will see you next week, same time right here. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. I appreciate you all so much. All right, bye.